Chosen ones, before you take another breath, understand this. There are messages that come into your life softly, and there are messages that arrive like a tremor beneath your feet, signaling that the ground you have always known is about to shift. What you're hearing right now is the second kind. This is not a gentle reminder. This is a calling. And if you dare to ignore it, if you even consider turning away or closing this moment too soon, you will carry a regret that echoes for years. Because not every message holds the power to alter the direction of your destiny, but this one does. There are turning points in a soul's journey that do not announce themselves with noise, but with an undeniable pull. You feel it in the quiet places of your mind, in the weight that settles on your chest, in the strange sense that something extraordinary is aligning without your permission. For so long, you have walked through seasons of uncertainty, unaware that every delay, every redirection, every closed door was moving you toward a single pivotal opening. And that opening is now approaching you with the speed and precision of fate itself. Chosen ones, you cannot afford to miss a single word of this. This message is not entertainment. This message is an intervention, a warning, a preparation, a revelation meant only for those whose spirits have reached a certain depth, a certain readiness, a certain maturity born not from privilege but from hardship, endurance, and resilience. The universe has observed your battles, both the visible ones and ones you fought in silence, where no one clapped, no one stayed, no one even noticed. And because of those unseen victories, you have been marked for a shift so profound, it will rewrite the landscape of your future. Do not look away, not even for a moment. Do not pause this. Do not skip. Do not let your attention drift, because the next words you hear may be the very guidance that carries you into the life you were always meant to live, but were never given the tools to claim. If you turn away, you are not turning away from a video. You are turning away from your own unfolding, from your appointed transformation, from the wealth, peace, and certainty that have waited far too long for you to grow into them. You need to understand something with absolute clarity. When a soul is chosen, its timeline does not shift gradually. It shifts suddenly, violently, decisively, with one event that outweighs 10 years of effort, with one moment that feels like the universe pushing everything into place at once. But to receive that moment, you must stay. You must listen with the fullness of your being. You must allow these words to sink so deeply that they rearrange the energy around your life. Because what is coming requires not just hearing, it requires readiness. And so, chosen ones, before you continue, let this be a vow between you and the universe. Engage fully. Commit completely. Do not break the connection forming right now. Like this message, subscribe to this journey, activate the notification bell, and comment the words 77 below as a powerful signal to the universe that you are not just listening. You are accepting the shift, claiming the calling, and aligning yourself with the transformation reserved for those who dare to step into their higher timeline. This is not superstition. This is resonance. Your intention is the key. Your focus is the door. Your presence in this very moment is the proof that you were meant to receive this. Be warned. Ignoring this message means ignoring the exact preparation you asked for in your deepest moments of exhaustion. Skipping even a second means turning your back on the breakthrough that has been circling your life, waiting for one final permission to land. If you close this message now, you will feel the consequences later, not as punishment, but as the ache of a chosen one who walked away from a destiny that was finally trying to reach them. So stay with every word. Let your spirit absorb the truth that is about to unfold. Because once this door opens, nothing will remain the same. Section 1. The silent shift before everything changes. Chosen ones, there comes a moment in every soul's journey when the world around you looks the same. Yet something beneath the surface begins to move with a force you cannot name. It is subtle at first, almost fragile, like a whisper brushing against the edges of your awareness. But the more you try to ignore it, the louder it becomes. Not with sound, but with presence. It follows you in the quiet, sits with you in your thoughts, and lingers behind your every decision. You sense it without understanding it. A shift approaching, a turning point, assembling itself beyond the reach of your eyes. This is the stage of transformation most people overlook because it does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives with restlessness, with a pull you cannot explain, with the strange feeling that you are standing on the edge of something far greater than anything you have ever prepared for. And chosen ones, when your spirit begins to feel this way, it is never random. It is the universe rearranging your path before your physical life catches up. For so long you have been walking through seasons that felt heavy, uncertain, or painfully slow. You questioned whether something was wrong with you. You wondered why your progress felt delayed while others seemed to move smoothly ahead. You fought through days when even taking the next step felt like lifting a mountain with your bare hands, and you endured nights when you had no answers, only exhaustion, worry, and the stubborn faith that somehow you were meant for more. What you did not see was the architecture behind your struggle. The universe was not denying you. It was shaping you. It was strengthening the parts of you that money cannot buy and shortcuts cannot produce. It was refining your judgment, sharpening your intuition, teaching you how to read people, and building the emotional endurance you would one day require. Every moment of waiting, every disappointment, every delay was not a punishment. It was preparation for the scale of blessing you were destined to carry. Chosen ones, understand this truth deeply. When your destiny is large, your preparation must be long. Ordinary timelines do not apply to extraordinary lives, and you were never meant for an ordinary life. That is why nothing has ever come easily for you. That is why you have had to take the long way around, while others received what seemed like effortless success. Their journey is not your standard. Their pace is not your measure. You are walking a path that requires more strength, more wisdom, more resilience. Because what is coming to you will not be small, temporary, or fragile. It will be lasting. It will be transformative. It will elevate you into a life you once believed was too far to reach. This is why the shift you are sensing matters so much. When a chosen soul approaches the moment that will change everything, the world does not announce it with celebration. Instead, your spirit feels it first. You begin to outgrow the spaces that once felt comfortable. You start losing interest in conversations that drain you. You feel detached from people who do not align with your future. Relationships shift. Priorities shift. Your inner voice becomes louder, more insistent, more demanding of truth. You are not falling apart. You are being reassembled. This stage is sacred. It means the universe is aligning circumstances, opportunities, and divine timing in a way that will soon collide with your life and redirect your entire future. It means the delay is ending. It means the season of struggle is closing. It means the moment that outweighs 10 years of effort is stepping closer, breath by breath. Chosen ones, acknowledge what your spirit already knows. You are standing at the edge of a breakthrough so profound that your past struggles will no longer make sense, except as necessary steps toward this exact place. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was pointless. Nothing was accidental. You were being shaped for a moment so powerful that when it arrives, it will feel as though the universe pressed a single switch and shifted your financial position, your confidence, your stability, and your direction all at once. And the first sign that this moment is near is exactly what you're feeling now. A quiet pull, a strange anticipation, a sense that life is no longer moving the way it used to. This is not imagination. This is alignment. This is acceleration beginning in the unseen realm before it becomes visible in your physical world. Chosen ones, breathe deeply and understand, the shift has already begun. Section 2. Why your path felt so heavy for so long. Chosen ones, there is a question that has lived quietly inside you for years, rising and falling like a tide you never fully understood. Why did everything feel so difficult for me? Why did progress move so slowly? Why did every step forward feel like a battle I had to fight alone? You asked this not because you lacked strength, but because you could sense that your journey was different. And you were right. It was different. Intentionally, precisely, divinely. When a soul is chosen for a destiny that reaches beyond the limits of ordinary life, the universe does not place that soul on an easy road. It places them on a path carved through resistance, through lessons, through storms that do not break them but refine them. You did not walk the harder road because you were unlucky. You walked it because your future required a depth, a sharpness, a clarity that comfort could never have produced. For years, you pushed forward believing your hard work should have brought quicker results. You watched others receive opportunities you prayed for, advantages you worked harder for, outcomes they did not seem to appreciate or even understand. You kept wondering why your efforts stretched long while their progress came swiftly. It made you question your worth, your timing, your choices, even your identity. But chosen ones, hear this truth with every corner of your being. You were being prepared, not punished. The universe was not withholding success from you. It was protecting the kind of success meant for you. There is a difference between gaining something and being able to hold it. And the life you are meant to step into is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is not the kind of blessing that comes today and disappears tomorrow. It is a foundational shift, a complete redirection of the way your life moves, opens, and expands. That is why preparation took so long. You needed to learn discernment, because wealth without discernment is a doorway for deception. You needed to learn patience, because opportunity without patience breeds panic. You needed to learn emotional endurance, because elevation without inner strength leads to collapse. You needed to understand the hidden intentions of people, because abundance attracts both light and shadow. Every delay drained you, but it sharpened you. Every disappointment bruised you, but it strengthened you. Every closed door frustrated you, but it redirected you toward the path that truly belonged to you. Chosen ones, the heaviness you carried was not a burden. It was training, and the universe was strategic. It allowed certain relationships to fail, not because you were unworthy of love, but because those connections could not walk with you into the future being built for you. It allowed certain opportunities to slip away, not because you were incapable, but because they were too small for the magnitude of your calling. It allowed certain dreams to fall apart, not because they were impossible, but because they would have kept you from discovering who you were meant to become. If your journey had been easier, you would have settled too soon. If your success had come earlier, you would have accepted less than you deserved. If your path had not slowed down, you would have rushed into lives, deals, and choices that would have cost you everything. Your struggle was not evidence of failure. It was evidence of intention. And chosen ones, here is the deepest truth. You were not being delayed. You were being aligned. All those moments when life felt unbearably heavy were the very moments your spirit was being stretched to hold the blessings that are now approaching you. Growth never feels like growth while you're in it. It feels like pressure, loss, uncertainty, silence, especially silence. That long period when it felt like the universe wasn't answering you was not absence. It was calibration. It was the quiet rearranging of circumstances. It was the invisible shifting of timelines. It was the reconfiguring of people, paths, and possibilities around your destiny. And now, because every layer of preparation has been completed, because every internal foundation has been strengthened, because your spirit has reached the maturity required to sustain what is coming, the weight is beginning to lift. The resistance that held you in place is no longer needed. The lessons have been absorbed. The season of conditioning has reached its end. The heaviness was never meant to break you. It was meant to make you unshakable. For when the moment arrives, the moment that changes the financial direction of your life, the moment that outweighs 10 years of effort with one stroke of fate, you will not collapse under its magnitude. You will not misuse it. You will not lose it. You will not be destroyed by the very thing that was meant to elevate you. Chosen ones, the reason your path felt so heavy is because the blessing coming to you is heavier still. And now, for the first time, you are strong enough to carry it. Section 3. The signs that your breakthrough is already moving toward you. Chosen ones, long before a destiny becomes visible in your physical world, it begins by shifting the atmosphere around your spirit. The universe never sends transformation without first sending signs. Not loud signs, but subtle ones, woven into the fabric of your daily life. These signals appear quietly, yet they carry a magnitude your intuition cannot ignore. And if you have felt different lately, If you have sensed a strange internal movement you cannot explain, it is because your breakthrough has already begun its journey toward you. One of the first signs appears within your own mind. Thoughts you used to entertain no longer hold the same power. Worries that once consumed you begin to lose their grip. You feel a pull away from chaos and toward clarity. You may not understand why, but your inner world is rearranging itself to match the reality that is approaching you. Chosen ones, this is not imagination. This is alignment. Your desires shift as well. The things you once chased no longer excite you. The validation you once sought no longer matters. You begin craving peace more than recognition, purpose more than praise, authenticity more than acceptance. These internal changes are not random. They are the earliest signs that your spirit is outgrowing the version of yourself that struggled to survive. You are being prepared for the version of yourself that will learn to thrive. Another sign comes through the people in your life. Connections that once felt solid suddenly weaken. People drift away without conflict or explanation. Some who stood close to you begin acting differently. At first, this feels like loss, but chosen ones, it is protection. The universe is removing anyone whose presence cannot support the blessings and responsibilities coming your way. Not everyone can walk with you into abundance. Not everyone is meant to witness your elevation. Some are stepping back because their season in your story is ending. At the same time, new people begin to enter your orbit. Individuals who carry wisdom, opportunities, clarity, or encouragement. They appear unexpectedly, sometimes in small ways, sometimes with profound impact. These new connections signal a coming chapter that requires different support, different conversations, different energies. If you pay attention, you will notice that the universe always arranges the right people before the right moment arrives. Chosen ones, your emotions also become more sensitive during this transition. You feel deeply, sometimes overwhelmingly. You sense truth faster than ever before. You become aware of dishonesty, manipulation, or negative intentions long before they reveal themselves. This heightened awareness is not a burden. It is a spiritual upgrade. You are being given sharper intuition to navigate the level of life you are stepping into. Where you are going, clarity is not optional. It is essential. But perhaps the strongest sign of all is the quiet expectancy that rises within you without explanation. You wake up with a feeling that something is shifting, even though nothing dramatic has happened yet. You feel a stirring of hope that does not match your current circumstances. You feel a sense of anticipation that cannot be justified logically. This inner certainty is your soul recognizing what your eyes cannot yet see. Breakthroughs always arrive spiritually before they arrive physically. Chosen ones, when your spirit knows change is near, it begins preparing for it naturally. You feel drawn to clean your environment, simplify your life, organize your thoughts, or detach from distractions. You start wanting distance from noise, drama, and anything that drains your energy. You become protective of your time, selective with your conversations, and cautious with what you allow into your space. This is not withdrawal. This is preparation. Your life is being cleared to make room for what is coming. Pay attention to your opportunities as well. You may notice small openings beginning to appear, ideas surfacing in your mind, unexpected messages arriving, people mentioning things that spark your curiosity, or chance encounters that feel too purposeful to be accidental. These moments are not coincidences. They are indicators that the universe is aligning pathways that will soon converge into a breakthrough beyond anything you have experienced before. And chosen ones, the intensity of these signs increases as your moment draws near. Your spirit becomes restless, not because you are lost, but because you are close. Close to clarity, close to elevation, close to the fulfillment of a timeline that has been preparing itself in silence for far longer than you realize. The heaviness you once carried begins to loosen. The confusion you wrestled with begins to dissolve. The fear that once paralyzed you begins to weaken. This is the unmistakable evidence that your life is shifting under the surface. When destiny approaches, it first shakes loose everything that cannot remain. It removes what is misaligned. It exposes what is false. It widens the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. None of this is random. None of this is accidental. Every change, every separation, every moment of clarity is part of a divine arrangement leading you toward the moment that will change your financial position, your emotional stability, your sense of purpose, and your entire direction. Chosen ones, hear this truth clearly. If your life feels different lately, it is because you are entering a chapter that will not resemble anything you have lived before. The signs are not preparing you for a small shift. They are preparing you for a life-altering breakthrough. And the moment it arrives, everything you once questioned will finally make sense. Section 4. The moment that arrives in one strike and changes everything. Chosen ones, there are moments in life that unfold slowly, step by step, like dawn rising across the horizon. But there are also moments that do not arrive gently. They strike, they interrupt, they shift the ground beneath your feet in a single breath. These moments do not ask permission. They do not wait for readiness. They appear the way destiny appears when it has finally reached its appointed hour. Suddenly, decisively, unmistakably. This is the kind of moment approaching you. For years you believed your progress would come through small gains, incremental victories, gradual improvement. You imagined your breakthrough would look like steady advancement, one careful step at a time. But chosen ones, your life is preparing to show you the other side of destiny. The side that accelerates what would normally take 10 years and compresses it into one moment that feels almost unreal. This moment comes disguised as something simple: a notification, a message, a transfer, a number appearing on a screen. Something so ordinary in appearance, yet so extraordinary in impact, that it forces your mind into silence. You will look at it once, then again, and then again, because your spirit will understand before your logic does that this is not an error, not a coincidence, not a mistake. It is alignment. It is divine timing crystallizing into physical form. It is the universe delivering in one stroke what all your years of endurance prepared you to hold. For so long, you have been conditioned to believe that blessing must arrive slowly, cautiously, carefully. But what is meant for you can arrive in a single moment, with the weight of an entire decade behind it. The universe is not limited by human timing. It is not restricted to gradual progress. When a chosen soul reaches maturity, elevation does not trickle in. It floods. And that is why the moment that comes to you will feel unreal. Your mind will race to make sense of it. Your heart will pound. Your breath will pause. Because deep down, you always knew something big was coming, but you could never have predicted the magnitude, the speed, the precision with which it would fall into your hands. It will feel as though the universe has been building this moment quietly behind the scenes, waiting for the exact vibration of your spirit to match the opportunity prepared for you. Chosen ones understand this. The universe never gives you what you want. It gives you what you are ready for. And you have finally become ready. You have walked through hardship long enough to value what is coming. You have been humbled enough to receive without arrogance. You have been strengthened enough to withstand responsibility. You have been refined enough to handle abundance without losing yourself. That is why the breakthrough comes all at once. Because if it had come earlier, you would not have been able to carry it. Not because you were weak, but because you had not yet become the version of yourself who could preserve it, protect it, multiply it, and honor it. This moment arrives not as a reward, but as a recognition. A recognition of every silent battle, every decision to keep going. Every time you stood firm when you could have surrendered. Every tear you dried on your own. Every night you whispered hope into your own exhaustion. The magnitude of this blessing is not random. It matches the magnitude of what you survived. And chosen ones, there is a reason it comes in one strike rather than a slow unfolding. Your timeline is accelerating. The universe is compressing what should have taken years into an instant because your life must move now. Your destiny is no longer waiting. Your next chapter cannot be delayed. The alignment has reached a point where the future you prayed for must transition into the present you live in. This is why you must not doubt the moment when it arrives. Do not question your worthiness. Do not look for reasons to fear. Do not convince yourself it is too good to be true. Good things become true the moment a chosen soul becomes ready. And you are ready now. Chosen ones, the moment that approaches you is not merely financial. It is directional. It is a shift in identity, a shift in how you walk, how you think, how you decide, how you build. It will not just change your bank account. It will change your posture in life. It will change what you tolerate, what you pursue, and what you refuse to carry forward. This single moment will draw a line between your past and your future so clearly that you will never again question whether you were meant for something greater. Because the moment it arrives, your spirit will whisper what you have always known deep inside. This is the turning point. This is the confirmation. This is the proof that nothing you endured was wasted. And once you receive it, nothing in your life will ever return to what it was before. Section 5. Why your blessing arrives all at once and not in small pieces. Chosen ones. There is a reason the universe did not give you gradual breakthroughs. There is a reason your progress did not trickle in gently, allowing you to adjust slowly and comfortably. Instead, what is coming to you arrives in one powerful wave. A single moment that collapses years of waiting into one undeniable turning point. And to understand why, you must understand the nature of destiny itself. Gradual blessings shape ordinary lives. Sudden blessings shape chosen ones. If the universe had given you small increases along the way, you would have adapted to them too quickly. You would have made room for them inside the version of yourself that still carried old fears, old patterns, old environments, and old limitations. You would have remained attached to things that were never meant to join you in your elevated future. You would have tried to bring your past into a life designed only for your transformed self. So the universe withheld the small, so it could deliver the monumental. Chosen ones, one of the greatest misunderstandings is believing that a blessing must arrive slowly to be stable. That is not true. What determines stability is not speed. It is alignment. When your inner world finally matches the frequency of abundance, gradual progress is no longer necessary. The moment the alignment is complete, the blessing arrives in one stroke because there is no longer anything inside you resisting it. That is why what comes to you will not come in pieces. It will come in fullness. But there is another deeper reason. Your elevation requires a complete break from your old timeline. If blessings came to you bit by bit, you would still see yourself through the lens of your past struggles. You would still operate from survival mode. You would still feel the need to prove yourself, defend yourself, and shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You would still tolerate environments that drain you. You would still settle for opportunities beneath your calling. Sudden abundance forces a shift, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. It pushes you into a new identity so quickly that your old identity can no longer contain you. It demands new boundaries, new decisions, new environments, new connections, and new standards. It does not give you time to cling to the past, because the past cannot coexist with the magnitude of what is coming. Chosen ones, understand this with clarity. Your breakthrough arrives all at once because your life cannot afford to move slowly anymore. You are entering a timeline where acceleration is necessary, not comfortable, necessary. What used to take years will take months. What used to take months will take weeks. What used to take weeks will take days. A chosen soul does not rise through effort alone. A chosen soul rises through alignment and timing. And when those two forces converge, the universe acts with urgency. Another reason your blessing arrives in one wave is because you have been held back long enough. The universe saw the sacrifices you made that no one acknowledged. It witnessed the loyalty you gave to people who did not deserve it. It counted every moment you stayed strong when you were breaking inside. It measured every setback, every disappointment, every time you rose after life tried to fold you. Your sudden breakthrough is not accidental. It is corrective. It is the universe restoring everything you should have received earlier, but were delayed by circumstances beyond your control. It is repayment for all the seasons when life felt unfair. It is compensation for every time you were overlooked, underestimated, or treated as if your value was invisible. It is balance returning to your life after years of imbalance. But there is one more truth, one most people never realize. Your blessing arrives all at once, so you can no longer deny who you are. If it came slowly, you might question it. If it came quietly, you might overlook it. If it came modestly, you might downplay it. But when it arrives as a single moment that outweighs 10 years of effort, you cannot ignore it. You cannot pretend it is coincidence. You cannot tell yourself you do not deserve it. You cannot hide from your own potential anymore. Sudden blessing forces acceptance. It forces awakening. It forces identity. It makes you stand face to face with the truth you tried to silence. You were never meant to live a small life. Chosen ones, the reason your blessing arrives in one overwhelming moment is because your destiny is not meant to be unfolded quietly. It is meant to be revealed unmistakably. So clearly, so powerfully, so undeniably that even your doubts cannot survive it. This is why the universe waited. This is why it held back the small. This is why it prepared you through hardship. So that when the blessing finally comes, swiftly, fully, massively, you will not just receive it, you will rise with it. Section 6. When the shift arrives, nothing inside you will ever be the same. Chosen ones, the world teaches that transformation begins outside, with new opportunities, new income, new environments. But the universe knows the truth. Real transformation begins within. And when your breakthrough arrives, the greatest change will not be in your circumstances, but in your spirit. The moment destiny touches your life, something ancient and deeply buried inside you awakens, expands, and steps forward. Before the external world shifts, the internal world must widen enough to hold the magnitude of what is coming. And chosen ones, when your long-awaited moment arrives, the shift inside you will be unmistakable. You will feel a sudden quietness, not the quietness of emptiness, but the quietness of certainty. A calm so deep, it steadies your breath and stills your fears. You will realize for the first time that survival is no longer your identity. You will finally understand that you were never meant to live your life in a state of constant struggle, scarcity, or self-doubt. The universe was preparing you, polishing you, molding you into the version of yourself who can walk confidently into elevation without being shaken by it. This inner shift will alter the way you think. You will stop seeing obstacles as threats and start seeing them as signals that something greater is aligning for you. You will stop minimizing your gifts, your intelligence, your intuition. You will stop feeling guilty for wanting more, because you will finally recognize that desire was never greed. It was guidance. It was your spirit remembering the life you were meant to step into. You will also begin to see yourself through a new lens. The insecurities that once held power over you will begin to dissolve. The fear of not being enough will loosen its grip. The need for approval from those who never understood your depth will fade like a distant echo. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will choose differently. Because you will know, without needing anyone's validation, that you have stepped into a higher version of your own existence. But perhaps the most profound transformation will occur in how you relate to others. You will no longer tolerate relationships that drain your energy or diminish your worth. You will no longer cling to connections that feel comfortable but stagnant. You will no longer allow yourself to shrink to fit inside spaces that were not built for your expansion. Instead, you will gravitate naturally toward people who elevate you, challenge you, support you, and honor the path you are destined to walk. Chosen ones, when the universe elevates you, it elevates your standards as well. Your boundaries will strengthen. Your intuition will sharpen. Your discernment will deepen. You will begin to sense people's true intentions before they speak. You will read energy with clarity you once thought was coincidence. You will know instantly which rooms are aligned with your future and which are merely remnants of your past. You will make decisions with confidence you did not have before, because you will no longer be operating from fear. You will be operating from truth. And chosen ones, here is the truth most people never discover. Abundance does not change the core of who you are. It reveals it. When the transfer arrives, when the opportunity lands, when the shift finally manifests, people may look at you and say, "You changed," but you will know the truth. You did not change. You simply became the version of yourself you were always meant to be, once survival stopped consuming your energy. You will find yourself thinking differently about your future.
You will plan with clarity instead of desperation. You will dream without guilt. You will rest without fear. For the first time, you will make decisions from a place of peace instead of pressure. This alone will feel like a rebirth.
Chosen ones, your relationship with time will transform as well. You will no longer rush. You will no longer chase. You will no longer panic when things do not move immediately. You will understand deeply, in your bones, that what belongs to you arrives at its appointed moment, and what leaves you was never meant to stay. This knowledge will free you from anxiety in ways you never expected. But the most beautiful change will be this. You will no longer question whether you deserve abundance.
The doubt that once suffocated you will fall away. The hesitation that once held you back will weaken. You will not sabotage opportunities anymore, because you will finally see yourself as capable, worthy, and prepared. Your heart will expand to receive without guilt, to grow without fear, to rise without apology. Your spirit will finally settle into its rightful place. Not in lack, not in confusion, not in fear, but in alignment. You will become the quiet, steady, unshakable version of yourself that life has been preparing you to become for years. And when that shift happens, you will look back at everything you endured and realize this truth with absolute certainty. Nothing was taken from you. Everything was shaping you. You were never being broken. You were being built. And now, chosen ones, you are ready. Fully, completely, undeniably ready to step into the life that was waiting for you all along. Section 7. This is not your peak. This is the doorway into a life you have not lived yet. Chosen ones, when the great shift arrives, the moment that pulls you out of the life you have known and places you onto the path you were always meant to walk. It is easy to believe that this is the pinnacle, the peak, the final destination. But hear this truth clearly and let it echo through every corner of your being. What is coming to you is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning. The moment you receive the blessing that reshapes your financial field, your emotional landscape, and your inner identity is not the conclusion of your story. It is the awakening of it. For too long, you have been conditioned to see breakthroughs as finishing lines, as if receiving what you've prayed for means your story is complete. But chosen ones, the universe does not elevate you merely to reward you. The universe elevates you to activate you. The moment you step into abundance, clarity, and stability, you step into a new chapter that demands the highest, most evolved version of yourself. The transfer that shifts your life is not merely provision. It is permission. Permission to think bigger. Permission to move differently. Permission to leave behind every smallness that once confined you. And most importantly, permission to live from purpose rather than pressure. For years, your choices were shaped by survival. You calculated everything through the lens of scarcity, worrying whether the next step might cost too much, drain too much, risk too much. You dimmed your dreams to match the limits of your circumstances. You silenced parts of yourself because you did not have the space to grow into them. But when destiny arrives in one decisive stroke, it breaks the psychological ceiling that kept you living beneath yourself. You will now see possibilities where you once saw barriers. You will now see openings where you once saw dead ends. You will now see yourself as someone capable of walking into rooms you once believed were not meant for you. The blessing is not the destination, it is the bridge. A bridge that carries you away from the world of barely enough and into the world of deep, expansive possibility. A bridge that leads you out of cycles of fear and into cycles of courage. A bridge that shifts you from reacting to life into creating life. Chosen ones, once this moment arrives, the entire architecture of your future changes. You will no longer build from desperation. You will build from vision. You will not cling to what is familiar. You will reach for what is aligned. You will not navigate life with the mindset of someone trying to survive. You will navigate it with the quiet power of someone who finally understands they were chosen for something more. You will begin to dream again. Not small dreams born from caution, but large dreams born from clarity.
Dreams that align with your soul instead of your fear. Dreams you once thought were too far, too unrealistic, too impossible, until destiny arrived to show you that nothing is too large for a chosen soul aligned with divine timing. And this is where the greatest transformation happens. Your journey becomes less about what you receive and more about who you become. You will become someone whose presence feels anchored, someone whose decisions are intentional, someone whose voice carries weight because it comes from wisdom, not from wounds, someone whose actions shape their environment rather than being shaped by it. The world will look at you and see change, but you will look at yourself and see emergence. You will realize that all along, the universe was not trying to make you wait. It was trying to make you ready, ready to lead, ready to choose, ready to stand in the fullness of your power, ready to walk into the life you once feared was too big for you. And chosen ones, perhaps the most beautiful truth is this: the blessing that changes everything is not meant to be a single miracle. It is meant to unlock a lifetime of miracles. It is the first domino in a chain reaction of alignment, the first opening in a corridor of expansion, the first confirmation in a series of confirmations that you are always walking towards a destiny larger than your pain, larger than your setbacks, larger than your imagination. What is arriving for you will not be the only breakthrough. It will be the catalyst, the spark, the ignition, the beginning of a new timeline where favor, clarity, opportunity, and growth flow into your life, not by force, but by alignment. Chosen ones, understand this with total certainty. Your life is not culminating. It is unfolding. Your destiny is not peaking. It is rising. Your story is not ending. It is just beginning. And once you step into this new chapter, you will finally understand why every delay, every struggle, every heartbreak, every closed door, every unanswered prayer was necessary. You were not being held back. You were being positioned. And now, you stand at the doorway of a life you have not lived yet. A life built not from fear, but from purpose, not from scarcity, but from abundance, not from survival, but from destiny. Chosen ones, this is not the peak. This is the ascent. This is the becoming. This is the moment where everything shifts and nothing about you ever returns to what it was before. Closing. When destiny calls your name, you do not walk, you rise. Chosen ones, as you come to the end of this message, understand one truth with a depth you cannot unhear. You are standing on the threshold of a life that does not resemble the one you have lived until now. You are not at the end of a journey. You're at the ignition point of a new existence. Everything you have endured, questioned, survived, carried, rebuilt, and held together when it felt like you had nothing left has led you to this moment. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Every fragment of your story has been preparing the ground beneath your feet for the shift you are now ready to receive. The universe has watched you bend without breaking. It has watched you lose without giving up. It has watched you love even when your heart felt worn. It has watched you hope when logic told you hope made no sense. And because of that, you have been chosen for a turning point that will rewrite what you believe is possible for your life. Make no mistake, this is a crossroads. The kind that divides a before and an after. The kind that does not ask for permission, but demands readiness. The kind that arrives once in a lifetime and changes everything in a single moment. Your breakthrough is not a fantasy. It is a scheduled event. Your elevation is not luck. It is the outcome of alignment. Your abundance is not coincidence. It is the fulfillment of a promise your spirit has carried for years. The moment that shifts 10 years of effort into one breathtaking instant is already moving toward you. Not slowly, not hesitantly, but with the full force of divine timing behind it. And when it arrives, your mind will struggle to grasp it, but your soul will recognize it immediately. You will feel something inside you settle. A recognition, a confirmation, a powerful knowing that this is the moment everything finally makes sense. You will understand why the waiting was long, why the lessons were heavy, why the losses were painful, why the silence lasted so long you thought you were forgotten. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. Chosen ones, This is the last thing you must hear before the door opens. Your blessing is not coming to rescue you. It is coming to reveal you. Reveal the strength you gained quietly. Reveal the wisdom you earned painfully. Reveal the resilience you forged through storms no one saw. Reveal the identity you could not step into until now. And when this breakthrough arrives, you will notice something profound. You will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel calibrated. You will not feel unworthy. You will feel aligned. You will not feel surprised. You will feel recognized by your own destiny, as though the life approaching you is the life you always knew was waiting just beyond the horizon. You will breathe differently. You will choose differently. You will walk differently. Not because you changed, but because you finally became the version of yourself you were always meant to embody. From this moment forward, your story no longer moves in the rhythm of delay. It moves in the rhythm of acceleration. It moves in the rhythm of alignment. It moves in the rhythm of destiny unfolding without hesitation. And as this chapter opens, carry this truth in your chest like a flame that will not dim. You do not rise by chance. You rise by calling. You rise by becoming. You rise because the universe has already written your name into the timeline of those who overcome, those who transform, those who ascend. So step forward with the certainty of someone who understands that fate is no longer working against you. It is working through you. Chosen ones, your life is about to shift so profoundly that the version of you reading this now will feel like a distant memory. And when that moment comes, when the transfer arrives, when the breakthrough hits, when the door opens, you will look back at every struggle and whisper the words that only the victorious truly understand. It was all worth it. Now rise. Rise into the life that has been waiting for you.